The View discusses Tom Hanks' recent Saturday Night Live skit, in which he portrays a character that many found controversial, leading to significant online backlash. It will be interesting to see which panelists found humor in the skit. As always, we appreciate your support. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's delve into the panel's thoughts on Tom Hanks' SNL appearance.
If more folks went to church, we wouldn't be in this mess we're in now.
You know what? I agree with you, Doug. I'd like to shake your hand, sir. Here we go.
No,
Oh, no.
Like that.
Oh, no. It's just a handshake. Yeah, it's just a handshake. Yeah, all right. You're welcome at Black Jeopardy anytime.
All right. Well, thank you, my brother. Maybe I'll start a show for you to come on, and we'll call it White Jeopardy.
No, we don't need it.
Now, some conservative viewers were not laughing at that part. They thought, I guess they thought this was new, there was a new addition, but this is a callback. He's been on several times in this character.
But the fact remains that they're making anyone who voted for Trump look like a racist, and that's why they're mad.
Well, my biggest issue with
and I personally would never do that, because I don't believe that any group is one thing.
Isn't it rich that Joy Behar now claims it's wrong to paint all Trump supporters as racists, insisting not everyone in a group is the same? Yet I'm almost certain that for the past year, she, along with everyone else on The View except Alyssa, was branding every single Trump voter a fascist, a Nazi, a racist, and a misogynist. No exceptions allowed. They wouldn't even entertain alternative perspectives. The issue people have with Tom Hanks isn't just that he portrayed every Trump supporter as a racist. It's the smug, condescending tone Hollywood uses to mock Christians, coupled with the blatant, one-sided bias in these portrayals. They'd never dare show a Russian communist praising Comrade with pride. They'd never depict a black person speaking Ebonics, pants sagging, Uzi tucked in their waistband. But when it comes to whites, Christians, or Republicans, open season. They're fair game for the most outrageous, degrading stereotypes. Trump won the popular vote this time and racked up massive gains across all demographics. So this lazy, worn-out trope that a Trump supporter is just some old white racist Christian doesn't hold water anymore. It's frankly insulting to the Hispanics, blacks, Indians, and moderates who backed Trump because the Democrats' message was an absolute disaster. Yet, like clockwork, here comes Sunny Hostin, ready to spin why it's actually a brilliant thing. Watch.
I have a different take on that. Just because, as Whippy said, Tom Hanks joined the sketch, bringing back the character of Doug, because the first Doug was in a 2016 sketch, and in fact, that was the most popular installment of Black Jeopardy, was with Doug as the Trump supporter in 2016. I think it's a very subversive sketch, in fact. It's about Black culture being American culture. And so when you have the regular Jeopardy, you know, it's basically the white Jeopardy. That already exists, because I've been on it and lost.
And never lets us forget it.
And so this you know, in 2018, you had Chadwick Boseman on, and the fact that he refused to shake the host's hand, that has happened before. Do you remember when the senator refused, the senator's husband that was being...
refused to shake Kamala.
That was sworn in. He refused to shake her hand. So I felt that it was very subversive. I felt that it was a sort of a callback to that.
I want to zero in on what she said in the middle there. She claims, oh, we already have Jeopardy, and that's basically the white Jeopardy. That's the racism oozing from the left, assuming trivial knowledge is some exclusive domain reserved for white people, that black people can't possibly thrive in that space. It's blatant prejudice masquerading as insight. Then she doubles down. It is white Jeopardy. I would know, because I was on it and lost. That's the DEI victim mindset from the left in full display. If I'm black and I fail at something, it's obviously proof of racism or injustice. It's a flimsy shield they hide behind to dodge accountability for their own failures. That skit might have landed in 2016, but it's laughably out of touch today. Back then, Trump lost the popular vote. He was a fresh candidate, spouting wild, unfiltered stuff no politician had dared say before. Trump derangement syndrome was in overdrive. People couldn't wrap their heads around how this brash political newbie, with his crude, unpolished style, got elected. So it was easy to dismiss his supporters as a bunch of racist, white Christian nationalists. But that doesn't fly anymore. People aren't clutching their pearls over Trump's words or delivery. They voted for him because of that raw authenticity and honesty. Like I said, he made massive gains across every demographic group. There was a giant red shift in every blue state. He flipped hundreds of blue counties. Regular, reasonable, decent people ditched the Democratic Party in droves to back Donald Trump. Why? Because they wanted someone who'd get things done, improve their lives, and stand up for Americans. Someone unshackled by political correctness, who'd speak plainly and clearly, not spew the empty platitudes and word salads we got from Kamala Harris. And now, this is where Sunny doubles down on her sanctimonious nonsense. They're reacting to James Carville, a Democratic strategist, saying Democrats need to step aside and stop fighting. Cue Sunny with her insufferable, holier-than-thou response.
Let USAID criticisms go. I love USAID. I've been on missions abroad where we've used it to help people, but it's intangible to voters. It doesn't really impact American voters' lives.
Okay.
If DOJ comes into the Social Security Administration and something happens, that's where you hold your real fight for.
Why is Mike going into my Social Security and the IRS?
Well, people
Why is
should
he
be-
doing that?
That
Why is
part's
he firing
problematic.
People should be concerned about that, but I kind of agree with James Carville because I'm part of the 92% of black women that voted to save the rest of the country. But the country wanted something else, and the country's getting something else. So I'm resting.
It's not the whole country.
Well, enjoy, just to push
I'm
back on what you're
resting.
saying.
It's impossible for them to admit they were wrong, that their ideology's a crumbling wreck. That's glaringly obvious as Donald Trump sits at peak popularity in the polls. He clinched the popular vote. His agenda items are crushing it with 60 to 70% favorability. Yet folks like Sunny Hostin dig in their heels, insisting they're the righteous ones, because they've got those fancy college degrees, and they're oh so enlightened. The Democratic Party's issue isn't just that they're battling a wildly popular America First agenda, it's that they've got nothing to counter it with. What's their big plan to slash government spending? Dead silence. Not one peep about how they'd tackle it, just constant griping that Trump and Elon are botching it. They swore blind that Joe Biden's hands were clean on the border crisis. Then, in the last 5 or 6 months of his term, crossings tanked after his executive action, exposing that he sparked the mess and could have fixed it any time. Now Trump's in charge, and border crossings are down 95%. Democrats cry that we needed bipartisan laws to fix it, that Biden wasn't the problem. So where's their border plan? Where's their immigration fix? All they're pushing is amnesty and citizenship for 10 million people who illegally stormed our country. They love trashing Trump's foreign policy, whining that he's rude to allies and palling around with Putin. Well, Biden's approach was the polar opposite, letting our allies fleece us left and right. And what did that deliver? A war in Ukraine, a war in Gaza, hundreds of billions of US taxpayer dollars bled out on foreign battlefields. They shriek that Trump's tariffs are an apocalypse in waiting, but they're the ones who tanked the working class with sky-high inflation. Sunny Hostin acts like she rolls out of bed, sashays to her mirror, and coos, "Who's the fairest of them all?" And just to slam the point home, that Democrats are hell-bent on opposing everything Americans actually support, here's Whoopi Goldberg preaching that wokeism's some kind of blessing.
That's why it's so annoying, when people talk about wokeism. Because, for years, women decided, I don't like how you talk about us. And so we got out and we did something about it. That was wokeism at its time. People didn't want us doing that. When we said, hey, we got to put more people of color, more folks who are different into colleges. They said, well, we don't want that either.
Yeah.
That was considered wokeism. So it's all of these things that seem to benefit other people, seem to be problematic because you're woke. Well, most women have never been asleep because we know what we're fighting.
What she's describing isn't wokeism. What she's talking about is good old school liberalism or progressivism, battling real, tangible injustices. Women wanted rights, they fought and won. Black people demanded equality, they fought and secured it. Gays pushed for marriage, they got it. That's the old fight. But wokeism, like I've said before, is something else entirely. It's chasing phantom injustices that don't even exist. The problem with being a progressive is simple. Eventually, you run out of real battles. Everyone gets rights, everyone's equal, everyone's free. But modern woke progressives were so desperate to star in some grand cultural showdown that they started inventing enemies. A man can actually become a woman? That's the hill they chose to die on. Blacks are supposedly the most oppressed they've ever been. Despite us having a black president, the First Amendment's evil because people shouldn't say things that hurt feelings. Teachers need to chat with kids about sexual orientation and fetishes so they feel seen. Give me a break. Black people have had equal rights for over 60 years. But since they're still the poorest demographic, that must mean deep-rooted, institutional white supremacy's at play, right? That's wokeism. When the itch to fight outstrips the actual injustices, they manufacture racism just to have something to swing at. And that's exactly why wokeism got torched in this last election. Most people want to enjoy the wins of those past cultural and social battles, live in a country that's free, equal, and tolerant. White folks were sick of being labeled racist just for existing. Black folks were done being patronized as victims just for being black. Look around. TV, movies, sports, culture, business, politics. Black people are everywhere, thriving. People got fed up with pretending we're still stuck in the Jim Crow South. Hey, if this take hit the mark for you, smash that like button and subscribe for more straight talk. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, good or bad. I appreciate the feedback. Let me know what's on your mind.